We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversation.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Audience in Kenya, I'm very happy to be here to tell you the informations about the music and the Spring Festival.
This Chinese New Year Gala has been here already second year. Our own Chinese calendar is called the Chinese Lunar New Year.
But it things all it is malifisa. Funga biz overseas on a visa.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Audience in Kenya, I'm very happy to be here to tell you the informations about the music and the Spring Festival.
This Chinese New Year Gala has been here already second year. Our own Chinese calendar is called the Chinese Lunar New Year.
But it things all it is malifisa. Funga biz overseas on a visa.
Justice Kome challenges constitutional commissions to be sensitive to Kenyans' aspirations.
As Kenyan government asserts that it will be holding talks with the Union of Clinical Officers. Plus, live in studio a little later on, Gordon Kochola from the African Center for Diplomatic Affairs He will be reflecting on the 47th President Donald J. Trump and his 60th inauguration ceremony.
All that's coming up, and here are the highlights.
Mumias Sugar Company pays out 150 million shillings in bonus to cane farmers.
We are very committed to honoring the CBA with the clinical officers.
We are ready for talks.
Government now tells the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers as governors pledge to address some of the clinicians' grievances.
We value God in our mission. By the time we left Kenya, we had the fear of unknown. But through prayers, we are able to be where we are today.
Seeking divine intervention.
The latest contingent of Kenyan police peacekeepers deployed to Haiti holds prayers on the first day on the ground.
Restoring confidence in America.
The theme of Donald Trump as he takes oath of office as the 47th President of the United States of America. It is a cold evening in the capital, but we want to warmly welcome you to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, YouTube, and Facebook. Our sign language expert tonight is Brian Murado.
Many thanks for joining us. Let's take you all the way to the U.S., where President Donald Trump has promised a new golden age after being sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America.
Trump also hit out at the Biden administration and its handling of the migrant crisis, saying the country has a crisis of trust in its government.
We open tonight's coverage with the very latest from the U.S.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Golden age of America begins right now. Stay forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
From America back home and onto Health Watch, the government says it is ready to hold talks with the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers to ensure uninterrupted service delivery.
This comes as the Council of Governors pledged to address some of the grievances of the clinicians, among them the accreditation, of registered facilities to the Social Health Authority.
Meanwhile, nurses in Lamu County staged a protest calling on the county government to address their issues, among them delayed salaries.
Here's that report.
On Monday midnight, clinical officers across the country downed their tools, escalating their push for better working conditions. Addressing the media in Nairobi, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers officials called on the Ministry of Health to empanel registered facilities to the Social Health Authority and allow pre-authorization services of practitioners. The union also demanded the negotiation of their 2017 collective bargaining agreement.
We cannot be able to pre-authorize. We cannot be able to see patients through the Social Health Authority. And so we are going to remain on strike until that day that we will be able to see our clinical officers pre-authorized and our facilities empaneled. And we also see goodwill in the implementation of the return to work agreement.
Why should we negotiate a CBA for close to 7 years? And yet a CBA has a life cycle of just 4 years. So meaning we are completing 2 cycles without a CBA.
In a meeting which brought together the Ministry of Health, SHA authorities and digital health agencies, the Council of Governors ordered the pre-authorization of practitioners and empanelment of facilities registered by the Clinicians Council to the Social Health Authority.
Ministry of Health and the Social Health Authority will implement the resolutions of the consultative meeting held on the 14th of January as here under that. 1, Social Health Authority shall empanel and contract facilities and practitioners pursuant to Section 33(2) as read with Section 31(3) of the Social Health Insurance Act and regulations.
Because if a clinical officer is using a license of a doctor and then it's not the doctors who are treating, then it means that that doctor is the one who is responsible for anything that will happen. And that is why it is important to give them the rights directly, because they are the ones who are offering those specialized services in the level 2s, the level 3s, and sometimes level 4, because there is no level of facility in Kenya that you cannot find a clinical officer.
However, the government says it is ready for constructive dialogue with the union to ensure uninterrupted service delivery.
We are very committed to honoring the CBA with the clinical officers. And I don't think jeopardizing the health of fellow Kenyans is good, because we have, trod this path before. We have been there.
This comes as nurses in Lamu County stage a protest lamenting over delayed salaries, threats from county leaders, discrimination in promotions and career progression.
Watu wanalipwa tarehe 22, tarehe 30, tarehe 1, 2. Sisi tunakaa mpaka tarehe 25 mwezi mwingine unapoingia. Hii haikubaliki.
Hatungependa kuwa kwa mgomo, lakini waangalie mambo yetu kiusawa. Waangalie mambo kisheria.
Speaking outside the County Public Service Board offices, the nurses complained of being ignored by the county government and called upon Lamu Governor Issa Timami to intervene and address their issues. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Onto a story we highlighted for you, Chief Justice Martha Koome has challenged constitutional commissions to have Kenya's aspirations in mind in the exercise of their mandates.
Koome says that the Public Service Commission and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission are 2 indispensable pillars of the Kenyan governance and must therefore be seen to champion the people's interests.
Koome was speaking when she oversaw the swearing in of new commissioners to the 2 institutions.
Sami Chepkwony and Mary Kimwoni have formally taken office as chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the vice chairperson of the Public Service Commission, respectively. At an event presided over by Chief Justice Martha Koome, the 2 commissioners and their teams were challenged to be guided by the law in the fulfillment of their mandate.
Our constitution envisages a public sector that is not only efficient and motivated, but also one that operates with the highest levels of integrity, professionalism, and adherence to the constitutional values and principles.
These positions are positions of a high calling and of immense trust, and these positions carry the responsibility of steering the future of our public service.
In discharging that mandate, we intend to be very consultative and very inclusive. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission was urged to balance the expectations of public officers for equitable remuneration.
Similarly, the Public Service Commission must lead in creating a public service that is competent, inclusive, and efficient, while fostering a culture of innovation and responsiveness to the needs of all Kenyans.
The State Department of Public Service, in its capacity, pledged to work closely with the commissioners in serving Kenyans without allowing the politics of the day to affect service delivery.
We are not in competition with the commissions. We are there to complement each other. We expect wise counsel from the commissions because really that is why you were established, to support the executive.
Among the persons sworn in are retired Major General Martin Kizito, Muhammad Adan Abdi, Jengata Khan Jage, Leonidas Shindu, Gilda Odero and Jeffrey Omondi joining SRC, and Harun Maalim Hassan, Mboya Molu and Monamke Amani Mbaruki joining the Public Service Commission. Isufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Moving on, Mumias Sugar Company has paid out bonuses totaling 150 million shillings to hundreds of farmers in a historic event officiated by President William Ruto.
The highest earner will take home 500,000 shillings, while the least will get 5,000 in a 30-30-40 profit sharing formula.
Now, this is the first time that cane farmers in the country are receiving bonuses.
Achola Simon with that report.
In the groundbreaking ceremony held at the Mumias Sugar Complex, farmers supplying their cane to Mumias Sugar Factory can today have some smiles.
Kuna mama atanunua nguo mpya leo na afurahishe mzee kwa sababu ya hiyo nguo yake. Hata wiki kuna mwingine atanunua. Kuna mama leo hii atalipa school fees kwa sababu ya vile umefanya. Kuna mzee leo hii atanunulia kijana nguo kwa sababu ya vile tutafanya. Your Excellency, leo hii kuna mzee ambaye ataingia pahali ya kujiburudisha na apigwe kamoja.
The factory, adopting the tea sector model, on Monday commenced a payment of bonuses to farmers who have supplied their cane to the mill, with the highest taking home 500,000 Kenya shillings.
Swali ambayo tunataka tujiulize, hii pesa ambayo tunaenda kuwapatia imetoka kwa exchequer ama imetoka kwa hii kampuni yetu ya Mumias Sugar? Na kama kweli tunasema hii pesa imetoka kwa exchequer, tujue hii rais utueleze ya kwamba imetoka under which provision, kwa sababu haikuwa katika budget yetu.
Na Mheshimiwa Salasia, wewe unajua ndugu yangu, wewe tukiwa bunge, sisi ndio wenye kufanya appropriation bill yenye inagawa pesa ya serikali, na hatujagawa hata shilingi moja ya kuja ati kupeana bonus. Pesa ya bonus ni pesa ambayo inazalishwa kutoka kiwanda cha Mumias.
Unajua kuna watu wa fitina wanafikiri ya kwamba tulienda kutafuta pesa ya serikali kuja kulipa bonus. Kwani mnaona sisi ni wazimu? Huyu mtu ambaye anasimamia hii kampuni nimempatia masharti na nilimwambia mambo ni mangapi? Hakuna hii lukumba no.
President William Ruto, who officiated the event, was categorical. The windfall was part of the listing agreement that stipulates farmers will get 30% of the net total profits, while the investor keeps a similar percentage, while the remaining 40% caters for the company debts.
Hapa nimemwambia huyu jamaa ile miwa inauzwa alipe number 1 mkulima, number 2 alipe wafanyikazi, number 3 ile pesa imebaki sasa tufanye hesabu, 30% ulipe deni KCB, 30% wewe uchukue faida yako, 30% tulipe hao wakulima bonus. Sina namna hiyo.
The president blaming poor management coupled with corruption that he said had greatly contributed to the collapse of the government-owned cane millers in the country.
If we do not respect zoning, we will be doing zero work. Because there is nobody, there is no investor who will come from out there to invest in the sugarcane sector, and you don't assure that investor that you have raw materials.
Serikali hailimi miwa, wala serikali haiwezi kuuza miwa, lakini serikali ina jukumu la kuhakikisha kuna mazingira bora ya wakulima kufanya kazi yao, na wataalamu kama wale wamefufua factory hii kufanya kazi yao. na serikali hakikishe kwamba kuna sera ambazo zitauniwa wakulima.
Na pia rais, nataka kukumbusha tu ya kwamba sisi kama viongozi wa wafanyikazi tulimpa anayeongoza hiki kiwanda miaka 2 na sasa imekwisha without an issue of unionization. Kwa ajili tunajua wale wafanyikazi wa zamani waliokuwa hapa, wengine bado wako katika nyumba za company, hawakulipwa chochote.
The sector has been on upward trajectory with an increased cane acreage powered by affordable farm inputs that has seen the country producing more than double the tonnage of monthly sugar demand.
Katika taifa letu la Kenya, mwaka uliopita wa 2024 tulipata miwa tani 1832, the highest tonnage of sugar ever reported since independence in Kenya was last year 2024. Tumeongeza area ambayo tunatumia kulima miwa. Sasa watu wa Nandi wanalima miwa, Wasingishu wanalima miwa, kule Trans Nzoia wanalima miwa, Transmara wanalima miwa, sehemu zingine zimeongezeka. Mwaka uliopita peke yake tuliongeza ekari 42,000 kwa kilimo ya miwa. Target yetu, vile nilitangaza bunge, ni kuhakikisha kwamba an extra 200,000 acres of land is put under sugarcane cultivation.
President William Ruto has also promised to ensure an extended value addition that will see the country venture into ethanol production and blending for fuel consumption at the domestic level. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kakamega County.
Hii ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa kweli. Hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mbuzi moja na mbuzi 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Na mbuzi moja iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Na mbuzi mbili. Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao na ni kubwa kubwa. Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo, hapa Christmas ni bomba.
But don't be afraid. All these characters are yours, including me. We'll teach you step by step.
Why do you always show up when I drink too much? Every time I drink too much, you show up. Who was it that sent you to pick me up? Even the smallest speck of dust has its own light. Our eyes should see more than glamour and prosperity. And every time you pay attention, it'll change the whole world.
Nini hapa? Nimekuja baba. Kufanya nini?
Mbona una raha? Ile siku nilikusemesha ukakata kunijibu.
Kwa taarifa yako, mimi ni mke wa kiongozi.
Sasa wewe ndo mzao.
Mwajua na nyinyi wenyewe, mtu wa kando ni mimi tu. Sudi atakwambia. Sina haja nikwambie ni nini.
Mimi siko.
Ukija hapa, njoo kwa sababu mtu ni watu. Mengineo sahau.
Welcome back. Well, we had promised that we would have an interaction session with Gordon Kachola from the African Center for Diplomatic Affairs. He is the Executive Director. I want to thank you so much for finding time just to come and reflect on the 45th and 47th President of America, the 60th inauguration that took place. Very, very cold weather in the United States of America. So the President himself giving instructions that it should be held indoors. obviously critics coming out and saying no, he probably feared that the turnout would be low. But what's your first reaction to President Trump's speech today? It was short, it was sweet, according to some. But what was your greatest takeaway?
Oh, well, even before we go to the takeaway from his speech, this is not the first inauguration being held indoors. In 1985, Ronald Reagan, it was held indoors due to weather. So, however cold it was, I don't know if it will be cold to the world during his 2.0.
2.0, yeah.
But speaking about his speech, there are three main issues that came up. Number one, the shocker to the world today is on climate change agenda. How will the world receive the climate change pronouncements by Trump? Because he's saying we are going to drill. The world is talking about renewable energy, running away from fossil fuel energy. But Trump is telling us America is going to drill oil and gas. That clearly sets the path for new conversations around climate change. We didn't expect anything apart from, we didn't expect much apart from what he said in terms of illegal migrations.
Before you go to the illegal migration, when you say new conversations, do you mean that there is potentially a point of conflict between the global north and the global south? Because if you see the way the continent of Africa has taken the climate change agenda very, very seriously, then one wonders what then does the future portend for the climate change agenda? We have seen COP28s, COP29s. So where does that place that agenda?
Well, there are two things. The world must accept that Trump from day one, during Trump 1.0, Trump did mention that America is getting a raw deal, and that's why he pulled out of the Paris Agreement. So he's saying, who are the largest polluters? He points at China, he points at Russia, he points other nations. He says, who is the highest contributor to the coffers of green transition? He says it's America. So he's saying America will not take this for the rest of the world. Everyone must bear the burden. So unless the world now begins to persuade Trump that even as you're going to drill, can we fund the green transition the clean transition we want to see in the world, which I don't see that going to happen with Trump. Okay. And in his speech, that is not what America is going to be, because he said America first. Okay. So let us expect new conversations around climate change and that with the global.
He also announced, he talked about the aliens being returned to their countries in the first instance, and I was a bit interested to hear him say, it was interesting to hear him talk in the millions.
Yes.
And so one wonders, how then can Africa position itself around this new reality?
Well, African leaders must just come to the realization that they have to create opportunities for their people. Trump is not saying he's going to deport everybody. Trump is only saying those who went there illegally. And that happens to every other country. Even in Kenya, if you're found to have entered the country illegally, you will be asked to go back to your country, legalize, legalize the process of coming back. That which has happened with so many, and even other people who were born in the country, when the state deemed that they had not regularized their stay in Kenya. They have been asked to go back to where they are. Okay. So that is, to me, that's not an alarm. Okay. It's just telling people, if
go
you
back
have to,
and regularize your stay, come back.
Then come back.
He also castigated America's health system. And you know, we analysts are probably thinking that was a punch below the belt aimed towards Biden. But there is the PEPFAR, the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which really people say has been very, very successful. So what is this something that you know Trump may rethink, or do you think we will still see more of?
No. Yeah. Trump will not touch anything that is on health, that is on economics, Trump may just touch on aid. But look,
Why?
PEPFAR, PEPFAR in itself was instituted by George W. Bush. Then it was an agenda by Bush under the Republican administration, something that the Republicans may not want to leave, because today, in the entire global South, you talk about Republicans, people know them for PEPFAR. So that is one thing, a legacy they wouldn't want to touch. Trump will touch on aid that is social aid. That is definitely, he may cut, it's not definite. But anything economics, he's going to broaden the base. He's going to ensure, and he talks about tariffs. That is to mean he's looking at how can America benefit, not how can Tom benefit before I benefit. It's America first.
America first. So as far as PEPFAR is concerned, you don't fix it. It's not broken.
People should not worry about that.
All right. Okay. Yes. So finally, one who's watching perhaps may wonder this show tonight, what role therefore can Kenya, because we didn't hear about his agenda for Africa. In fact, even the invitations, we were hoping to hear the channels from America talking about invited African heads of state. We didn't see that coming through. So as you wind down, what role can Kenya therefore play in ensuring that it maintains its diplomatic ties with the Trump administration, his second term?
Trump 2.0 will be interesting. One, Kenya is not going to reinvent the wheel. Kenya is only going to up the game. Why am I saying Kenya is going to up the game? In the area of strategic security affairs, Kenya is still very strategic to US on many fronts. Kenya is the leading country in the area as far as fighting terror and terrorism is concerned, the Al-Shabaab. So America relies heavily on Kenya to ensure that the entire Horn of Africa is pacified. That will not change. Therefore, America will still have to rely on Kenya, and will have to partner with Kenya in terms of fighting terrorism and security-related issues. But Kenya being a hub, an economic hub in the entire East and Eastern African region, America cannot afford to ignore Kenya. I know many people will ask, what is during Trump 1.0, Trump did not have very lenient words or very lenient policies towards Somalia. And I think Somalia must now rise above what it has been and show to the world that they matter in the matrix of America. Yes.
Okay, that's a good place to leave it. Kenya, you say it doesn't have to reinvent the wheel?
No.
It doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. All what it has to do is to up its game?
Up its game.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it. I want to thank you so much, Gordon Kuchola, Executive Director of Africa Center for Diplomatic Affairs. Now, moving on, Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo has pledged to turn around the status of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation to reclaim its space as a national broadcaster. The CS, who made his maiden tour of the broadcasting house here in Nairobi, Kenya, said that the visit will inform his plan of action. He said that the ministry will come up with a strategy to revamp the corporation. Here is that report.
ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo on Monday made his maiden visit to Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. In his familiarization tour, the CS visited various departments, including various KBC-owned radio stations and Channel 1 television studios, and promised to forge a working relationship, even as he called for efficiency.
I have gone through all the departments, and we have more information that we'll be asking the MD to give to us, so that we know how to come in and help. But two things, efficiency and effectiveness. Those are the things I'm looking at.
Kabogo vowing a different approach, saying his will be direct interaction with staff and management of the corporation to seek the best way to have the state-owned broadcaster reclaim its past glory.
And also making KBC the broadcasting station in Kenya, number one, and it is possible. As you know, over the years, KBC has had good infrastructure. So it is just about to improve that infrastructure, improve their content, the equipment so that they are up to date, probably go cloud, because that's where government is going.
The CS used the platform to call on the social media users to exercise their rights and freedom of speech and expression responsibly.
Instead of putting me in a coffin and displaying me out there, why don't you just tell me what you want? Why can't we have a discussion between yourselves and us? And we also know that Kenya has freedom of expression, but that freedom is limited to the extent it interferes with other people's freedoms. So your freedom stops where mine starts. As long as we understand those are the rules of the game, let's have fun.
Kabogo warned that those using the platforms to spread hate and abuse others are crossing the red line and will be dealt with by the law.
You also know we have laws that are computer misuse and that act. People should be punished if they misuse their computers.
Do you think the law is sufficient?
Well, if it's not, we should be reviewing law. Law is not static. We should be reviewing it as we go.
He, however, said the government has no intention of shutting down social media platforms.
We don't want to think about switching off people because the capacity is there.
Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
And to other developments, the latest contingent of Kenyan police to Haiti held a prayer session on the first day of their mission, vowing to uphold professionalism.
The team of 217 joined those from Jamaica, Guatemala, El Salvador, the Bahamas, and Belize for an interdenominational service.
An interdenominational prayer service to welcome the latest Kenyan police contingent deployed to Haiti. Their mission ahead is urgent and filled with immense responsibility.
Jesus in every
Restoration of peace and security to a country in the grips of political instability and rising violence.
We value God in our mission. By the time we left Kenya, we had the fear of unknown. But through prayers, we are able to be where we are today.
Wakati tulipokuwa tunakuja hapa Haiti, watu wengi walikuwa na tashwishi sana. Wakijiuliza kwamba je, askari wa Kenya wataweza hii kazi?
The contingent of 217 security officers is part of a larger international peacekeeping effort. For the officers, the mission is also more than just a job. It is a calling to help those in need, and the church service provides an essential moment of reflection.
We've been able to conquer where we have been able to conquer because the Lord has always been our lead and our guide. And what we can assure the people of Kenya is we are coming back alive.
As they buckle up for their mission ahead, the prayers are a reminder of strength, unity, and above all, peace.
in the house of the Lord.
For Prime Edition, Marvin Counder.
House of the Lord.
That story bringing us to a fast break right here on Prime Edition.
Thank you for keeping it KBC Channel 1. Continue communicating to us on our socials at KBC Channel 1. We'll be back with more, with the detail and clarity
you deserve.
Star 570 hash.
Like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the money? This one. And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevakishwa. Sile wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Say United States where you're.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. This is the business news. My name is Betty Kiptum. 1.3 million livestock have been successfully vaccinated in the first phase of the national vaccination campaign against foot and mouth disease. Livestock Principal Secretary, that is Jonathan Mweke, says the vaccines used in the campaign were locally manufactured by the Kenya Veterinary Vaccines Production Institute, that is KBC, and are available free of charge to farmers across the country.
Foot and mouth disease has been a persistent challenge for Kenyan farmers. The ongoing national livestock vaccination campaign is seeking to safeguard the health of livestock and ensure that Kenya's agricultural sector remains resilient. 4 counties have benefited from the first phase of the campaign, according to the Livestock Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke.
Vaccine ziko zimetengenezwa KBC. Kwa hii launch tunaanza na vaccine karibu 1.3 million, so 1.3 million vaccines that are already ready. Hii vaccination sio event, sio unaenda leo una vaccinate ng'ombe zote 22 million. It is a process and we will be doing this process annually for about 3 years ndio tuhakikishe tumepata ile herd immunity ambao tunataka.
Mweke says farmers can access the free vaccines through local veterinary officers and designated vaccination centers across the country.
Counties are ready. We've been speaking with them for the last 6 months. Tumeshafanya pilot counties 3, Kitui 700,000 vaccines, Wajir 800,000 vaccines, Embu 300,000 vaccines, and Tharaka Nithi 400,000 vaccines. So we've already done 4 pilots in the counties. Na tumeona that the counties are capable of running this vaccination exercise.
The 3-year campaign targets 22 million livestock to combat transboundary diseases.
Tunataka tuchanje mpaka tupate ile herd immunity ya 80%, 80%.
Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
And obsolete technology, pending bills and an unpredictable tax regime are some of the key issues affecting the viability of companies in Kenya. Investments, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui says he will work closely with the private sector to integrate artificial intelligence and other digital technologies to enhance productivity.
Some companies, including Base Titanium, G4S, Tile and Carpet Center and Mumias Motors in 2024 announced that they were shutting down or relocating, citing high operational costs, challenging economic conditions, and reduced demand for products.
I told you that even when you hear one company has, gone through some challenges, you have 5, that are coming in. So I think going forward, there will be need to have data on those that have had maybe a technology challenge or a capital challenge and the admission of new ones, that are investing in our country.
To forestall similar cases, Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui is urging businesses to embrace emerging trends, innovate and adopt new technologies to remain competitive.
Some of the issues are to do with the advancement of technology. For some of them, they have not been able to catch up. But majorly also there were issues to do with multiple levies, by different government agencies.
Growing technology, AI, and all these other issues, the industries are changing very fast. And therefore, it is important that we also help them to adapt and to ensure that they survive through and also continue to offer jobs and create wealth for our country.
Kenyajui assured stakeholders that key challenges such as unpredictable tax regime and high energy costs will be addressed through a collaboration with Parliament and the National Treasury.
That, you want to know for the next 5 years what sort of tax regime you're going to have, because industries also have financial obligations with banks, and therefore when it keeps changing every now and then, it becomes a big problem.
He is challenging SMEs and manufacturers to leverage on the various trade agreements such as EAC, COMESA, AFCFTA and Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union to increase exports to Africa, Europe, Asia and the United States.
We are only able to utilize a small percentage of the provisions under these agreements. And therefore, just to note that there's a big gap between government's efforts to open up these markets and the ability of us as Kenyans and the industry to supply.
Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
And large-scale tea producers in the counties of Nandi and Kericho say they have lost about 30 million shillings since August 2024 due to illegal plucking of green leaf from their tea farms. Kenya Tea Growers Association chairperson, that is Silas Njibwakale, is concerned about increasing cases of invasion of tea farms owned by large-scale tea factories, citing Sitoi Estate in Nandi County and Sambret Estate in Kericho County.
Association chairperson says the invaders have been stealing the green leaf from about 200 acres. He says the stolen green leaf is costing the affected tea factories in lost revenue.
Initially, they were on one corner of the estate covering a small area, but they seem now to be getting emboldened and covering more and more area, about 200 hectares. We have tried to follow where they're selling the leaf. I would like to inform you that EATTA have already written to its members, all those who buy and process tea for the Mombasa auction, and told them not to buy illegal tea from Sitoi.
He is urging the government to urgently ramp up efforts in apprehending the criminals behind the illegal invasion of prime parcels of land, including the Sitoi airstrip, theft and damage to investments.
If the invasion, theft and damage to private investments by organized crime syndicates is allowed to continue, the potential ramifications for local security, the rule of law and investment are dire. If not stopped forthwith, this illegal activity will be an affront to the rule of law and the integrity of the courts.
The tea and coffee subsectors account for 23% of Kenya's total exports and supports over 5 million livelihoods, including 650,000 farmers.
Further afield, TikTok is resuming services to its 170 million users in US after President Donald Trump, who spoke at the time when he was president-elect, said he would issue an executive order to give the app a reprieve when he took office today. On Saturday evening, the Chinese-owned app stopped working for American users after a law banning it on national security grounds came into effect. Details of these and other stories in our international business roundup.
Trump, who had previously backed a ban of the platform, promised on Sunday to delay implementation of the law and allow more time for a deal to be made. TikTok then said it was in the process of restoring service. Soon after, the app started working again and a pop-up message to its millions of users thanked Trump by name. In a statement, the company thanked the incoming president for providing the necessary clarity and assurance and said it will work with Trump on a long-time solution that keeps TikTok in the United States. Meanwhile, there is increasing disparity in the world today as an aristocratic oligarchy is amassing wealth at an unforeseen level. A report published by development organization Oxfam said, published ahead of the World Economic Forum in Davos, the report titled Takers Not Makers said billionaire wealth soared by $2 trillion in 2024, growing 3 times faster than the previous year. While the richest 1% now own 45% of global wealth, 44% of humanity lives on less than $6 per day, and global poverty rates have barely changed since 1990, the report said. Finally, Chinese President Xi Jinping, a special representative Vice President Han Zheng, met with the U.S. business community in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. Han is in Washington, D.C. to attend the inauguration ceremony of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Monday, as President Xi's special representative at the invitation of the U.S. side. During his meeting with U.S. business leaders, Han stated that President Xi and U.S. President-elect Donald Trump reached important common understandings regarding the development of China-U.S. relations during a recent phone call.
Well, it will be interesting to continue observing how Trump's presidency pans out. You saw during that particular inauguration, the leaders of all tech firms, big billionaire firms, were there, from Google to Meta to Tesla, as well as X, that is Elon Musk. We shall be watching that. That is the end of the business news this evening. Have yourself a good night. My name is Betty Kiptum. Bye-bye.
Are you a talented artist, or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Rohom and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. Now, the KCB Bank women's volleyball team is determined to start the year on a high during the third leg of the Kenya Volleyball Federation National League, which gets underway this Saturday at the Nyayo National Stadium. The team moved to the Nyayo National Stadium court this week, where they have intensified their training under head coach Japheth Munala.
KCB, who are the defending national women's champions, finished last year on a high in Eldoret, where they emerged victorious after a tough season. Team captain Edith Wisa believes they have the right blend of players to stay on the right track and defend their title for another consecutive year.
So far the team is in good shape, the players are in good morale, we are doing well, we are gelling well with the new players, the ones right from school. Last year we were the defending champions for the last season and we hope to defend our title this season. We finished on a high note in the Eldoret tournament.
Naomba Mungu sana ninuke nikue level ingine different. Kwa maisha yangu mimi na hope nicheze outside, but kitu ya kwanza unaanzianga nyumbani ukisonga.
The team recently acquired the services of new players who include, among others, the Kesogon twins Bridget and Nancy Baraza, Kwantance's Frida Mboke and Terry Malin, and they have gelled well with the experienced players in their bid to take the club to greater heights.
We know that coming this league, many teams are going to use their new players, their new signings, and we are expecting a tough competition from them. But as KCB, we are working on our side so that we can perfect in each and everything that we need to do well. And I know if we play our game as KCB, it's going to be easy for us to win.
I make sure nimekuwa discipline na nimejituma kwa mazoezi ili pia niwasaidie juu alinisaidia shule kunisponsor.
Mimi ndasaidia KCB kwa moral. Vile pia walikuwa na moral kutusaidia shule, pia ndawasaidia kwa uwanja kama seta.
KCB will spike the third leg on Saturday against Prisons Nairobi at the Nyayo National Stadium after Kenya Pipeline's match against Kenya Army. They will face KDF on Sunday after the all Prisons affair between Prisons Nairobi and Prisons Kenya.
Now, Mathare United founder Bob Munro has left a legacy of his immense contribution to Kenyan football and community development following his demise on Sunday at his home in Westlands. He had been suffering from respiratory problems. Munro established the Mathare Youth Sports Association, which is a community development organization which pioneered the use of football for social change among the youth in Mathare and its environs. This gave birth to 1,200 teams, among them FKF Premier League club Mathare United, and the Mathare Youth Sports Academy that has been instrumental in identifying talent and nurturing across the country and beyond, as evident in the FKF Premier League and Norway Cup. Last December at State House, Nairobi, Munro received the award of the Elder of the Order of the Burning Spear for his contribution to community and sports development from President William Ruto, who condoled his family, friends and all those whose lives he touched.
Dr. Purity Otoni Eda, the youngest PhD holder in mathematics and the youngest CEO of a constitutional commission in the country, is a trailblazer in education and gender equality in Kenya. Since joining the National Gender Equality
AFC Leopards, Bandari, Sofapaka, Gor Mahia, KCB and Kenya Police are the only teams yet to complete the first leg of the 2024-2025 FKF Premier League season. Those teams whose matches were postponed will take to the pitch on Wednesday. Defending champions Gor Mahia will play Sofapaka, Kenya Police play Bandari, while KCB will take on AFC Leopards. After match day 17, Tusker FC remain top of the log with 33 points, 3 points above second place Kenya Police, while KCB are third on 28 points. Gor Mahia, Sofapaka and Shabana sit in the 4th, 5th and 6th positions respectively on 24 points each. Nairobi City Stars, United and Posta Rangers are the bottom 3 sides in the league. City Stars are 16th on 17 points, 2 points above 17th place Bidco United, while Posta Rangers are bottom on 14 points. Now, Hillcrest International School were the overall champions of the Kajiado County Aquatic Association Minnows and Open Invitational Championship, which was held at the Asiana Gardens in Kajiado County. Hillcrest dominated the championship with 60 gold, 40 silver and 25 bronze medals, for a total of 125, as Zefish Aquatics finished second with 110 medals. Other swim club was third overall with 35 medals. 85 swimmers took part in the one-day event, which attracted more than 10 swimming clubs. Focus will now shift to the Kajiado County Aquatic Association Sprint and Relay Swimming Championships, slated for the 1st of February at the same venue. Now, Manchester City recorded their biggest English Premier League win of the season when they thrashed Ipswich 6-0 at Bournemouth Road to move back to top 4 on 38 points. Manchester United, on their hand, were condemned to another defeat by Brighton and Hove Albion, who beat them by 3-1 at Old Trafford, as Everton beat Tottenham by 3-2 at Goodison Park.
Doku. So the ball so close to his feet, Jeremy Doku. Kovacic makes it too.
The edge of the box, still got plenty to do when the ball arrives at him. Because you...
Audiol. Kovacic. Very little pressure on him as he looks for McAtee, who's in. Manchester City make it 6. It's the 3-minute 6.
And that is the sport for tonight. More coming to you tomorrow, and updates on all that's happening in the Australian Open and much more across the world of sport. My name is Daniel Rohome. Back to Tom and Muchuma.
Many thanks indeed, Daniel Wahome, for that sporty update. Of course, Betty Kiptum was there earlier on, bringing us the latest in the day's business. And before we go, there's that story of that devastating fire that has engulfed Magnum slum in Nyahururu. We understand that it's left about 10 plots completely destroyed. Efforts, of course, to contain that fire ongoing. Reports indicating those efforts were hampered by the weather patterns and also the access roads, which are a little bit of a challenge. But if they want more on that story, they can log on to
www.kbc.co.ke. Also, our social media pages at KBC Channel 1 on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And quick acknowledgements. Gideon Lodu, thank you for keeping it KBC Channel 1 from Nairobi. Muga from Kisumu, and Richard Kirime, you are saying on the story of bonuses to sugar farmers, good thing, hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, that's a good but that's a good place to end it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have to go. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. We want to thank you on behalf of the Prime Edition team. My name is Mboya. By the way, we forgot to say that at the beginning. We take full responsibility, and she is
Muchuma Odim.
We'll be back again tomorrow. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Good night.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically